Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary and high school age. If you're not subscribed, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified of all of my future videos. And if you'd like more help and encouragement around home and homeschooling and goals, I would love for you to come check out my membership community, which is always linked in the description box below. Today, I'm going to be going through my July goals progress as well as what I have on tap for August. So let's get into it. Okay, guys, so my priority for July was rest and a homeschool slow start, and I really feel good about both of those priorities. I think that we did lean into rest. I mainly focused in July on having workish things. That means like home management tasks, cleaning the house, homeschool planning, all of those types of things in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I tried to focus on rest or fun things with the kids or just being outside in the beautiful weather, sitting on my deck, reading books, all of that kind of stuff. And I absolutely love that. I felt really, really good about July, and my rhythms of renewal goal for the year had a focus on rest in the first quarter, but towards the end of my spring season, which was in May when I did my quarterly refresh for the summer, I got shingles and realized that I still needed to lean into rest more. And so that has kind of continued throughout the summer, and I have been feeling really good about it. So I'm pleased about that. My encouraging words were, "If teaching is an art of imitation, then we ought to make ourselves worthy of imitation," by Sarah Mackenzie. And that was for me to just focus on the things that I find value in, which are my passion projects. It is leaning into rest. It's, showing my kids, doing the things that matter most to us is kind of what I wanted to share with them this month. So I'm going to go through my monthly action items first. The first one was to do the weekly projects in my ECLP notes pages, which I did. I did a lot of setup in my Erin Condren notes pages this year. I do have a setup video where I shared what I was going to keep in those pages, and for the most part, I've gotten most of those things situated on there. I still have a couple of spreads that I'm working on, but those are just going to continue to be worked on as we go through the next couple of months. The next thing that I had on my monthly action items was relating to my finance goal, and that was to look at the second half of our year budget, things that we have coming up. We have big purchases in the fall. Typically, we have to buy heating oil, we buy pellets for our pellet stove, getting all of our systems checked and updated, and just listing out all of those bigger projects. We have to potentially have the roof on our garage done, trying to get estimates for that. It's super fun stuff. So I gave myself full credit for that. The next thing on my list was to continue the connect rhythm, being the friend that I want to have. And so I gave myself full credit for that. We've done a lot of fun coffee dates and barbecues and some pool stuff, and it's been a lot of fun continuing with that Rhythms of Renewal goal using that book from Rebecca Lyons. I've really enjoyed that this year. Even though I had read it in the past, it's been very helpful to kind of have that as my guide for the year. So I feel really good about the connect rhythm. The next thing on my list was to finish the Florida pictures, which I've given myself half credit for because I've gone through all the pictures. I've not ordered them yet. It is July 30th when I'm recording this. So technically I have today and tomorrow. And I think what I'm going to do is just go on to Snapfish and just order all of the prints and then go through the ones that I have in hand and then order more of them, whether they're going to be larger sizes or different sizes. I'm just going to get, like the normal 4x6 or 4x5 or whatever the picture size is from my phone pictures, and then I will order new pictures when I start scrapbooking, if that makes sense. Start the Florida video project was the next thing, and that was just to upload it to Premiere Pro, which I've done, and I've actually started editing it. I have a lot of footage. I think I have a couple of hours of footage, and I've only gone through maybe 20 or 30 minutes of it. So I'm making progress. My ideal would be to finish it before the end of the year. I know that sounds so silly, but I want to add a lot of pictures in and music and really have it be a nice family keepsake. So I'm taking my time with it, and I have so much other editing that I have to do for YouTube anyways that I don't have as much time to sit down and really focus on that because video editing just takes me a really long time. The next two things were to go through one file cabinet drawer and to go through one homeschool bin, and I did both of those. And it was actually funny because the file cabinet drawer, I don't know, I think that it must have been my old home management binder papers that I had just stuck in a file, and it was just at the back of the file cabinet because it was all of my goals stuff from 2011 and all kinds of ideas. And it was kind of funny because that was when I first started Townsend House back in 2011. And so kind of going through that, it took me longer to go through that file drawer because there was so much memory stuff in it. It also reminded me of some of the things that I used to keep track of in my home management binder when, before I bought planners and stuff, I created my own printables. I had like a daily planning spread that I had done. Well, I will put up a picture because I still have it. And I was like, oh, this is so functional. Why don't I use this anymore? But it was kind of fun to go through all of that stuff. And I've wanted to make progress. That was part of my home management goal, to get through, to do a lot of decluttering, but then to start working on the memory bins. And I haven't had as much time to work on those because it really takes emotional energy to go through some of those things. I'm hoping that as we move into the fall, I don't think our fall is going to be as busy this year, so I'm hoping to make more progress on those things. But when I wrote down just one file drawer and one homeschool bin, that made it a lot easier for me. So that was good. I got all of that done. Read new releases. That was primarily the new Deborah Harkness book, Blackbird Oracle, which came out in the middle of July. Absolutely loved. And I'm actually waiting for the fourth book of the Penn Cole Everflame, Burn of the Everflame, I think is maybe what it's called. And it just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. That's what happens a lot of times with indie authors, but I was hoping it would come out in July. It's not. I think maybe August, we shall see. But I really love the Blackbird Oracle book. It was really, really good, and I did not realize it was going to be the start of a new storyline. So I thought it was going to be a standalone like her fourth book, which was centered around Marcus and Phoebe. So anyways, there's no news of when the next book will come out, so anyways, the last thing on my monthly action items was my monthly reset, and that was early on the 25th, and it was a longer monthly reset than they have been for the past, I don't know, maybe 6 months, maybe since the beginning of this year. And I know that was because I was doing a lot of homeschool planning in addition to my regular planning, and so it did take me a lot longer, but I felt good about the progress that I made on that day, and I'm just happy that I set aside that day each month. It helps me to have a day set aside to focus on those thinking tasks, to go through my brain dump notebook and just make sure that everything is in a place where it ought to be. And it removes mental load during the rest of the month because I already know that I have time to focus on these things. So if you don't do that, definitely recommend. I have a video on how to implement your own monthly reset day. I will leave that linked in the description box if you're interested. So then my weekly action items, the first three are relating to my rhythms of renewal goal, Sabbath, food prep, and weekly planning. Sabbath and food prep I've done every week. Weekly planning I did not do the first week, which was 4th of July week, and we had family up visiting, so there wasn't really a plan as much as just like hanging out and having fun, so that was fine. The next one is homeschool planning, and I've done that on, since we started school on the 15th, for the weeks that we have been homeschooling. Spend tracking I've not been as good at this month as I have been, in all the other months. So I've only done it for 2 weeks, and part of it is because I've been looking at systems for next year. I don't think I want to continue having a physical planner for budgeting. I've talked about budgeting a lot in the past. I do use Excel spreadsheets to create my budget, and then I've been printing them out and putting them in an Erin Condren monthly planner and doing spend tracking on those pages between each month, which has been super, super helpful for me to get a handle on how much everything costs, how much we're spending in different categories each month. And the primary reason that I started doing this a few years ago was because the cost of things has just skyrocketed and I couldn't budget well because I wasn't working with realistic numbers. And so I really had to go back and look and see how much are we really spending on groceries? How much are we spending on home goods? How much are we spending on cleaning supplies? How much are we spending on books and homeschool resources? And taking the time to do that and finding all of those numbers was very, very helpful for me. I don't think that I need to physically write the stuff down anymore. We have a very good handle on our finances. There's always places that can be tightened up, but I don't think that I need to do it on paper anymore. And so I've been looking at Every Dollar, YNAB, and Monarch, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. I don't necessarily need it for budgeting itself, so I'm leaning towards Monarch, more for the reporting and, you know, your overall financial health picture. We'll see. I'll let you know when I come up with something. I know that's very outside of my paper planning mode, but for money, like way back in the day, I used to use Quicken. I've always used Excel spreadsheets. I love numbers and formulas and stuff. So anyways, the next thing on my list was weekly projects, and I have not done well at this. I only did 2 out of the 5 weeks, and I do have a list for August of monthly projects to catch up with what I didn't do in July. Part of that was because towards the middle of the month, some of the things on my list are relating to other things that I want to do, which is like cleaning out my deep freezer and doing all of my inventories for the fall and winter to see what we need to replace, what we need to use up, because I do a lot of bulk purchases from local farms and such. And so I didn't have time to really do that in July because we were starting homeschool. So I'm hoping that in August I can get those inventories done so that in September I can figure out what exactly we need. Daily action items, I did really well all month. Walk, my weekly tasks, which are things that I do on different days of the week for home management. My dailies I was doing. Journaling, I've been doing a 1 line-a-day journal in my Erin Condren Life Planner, and that has been going really well. I like doing that. Just a little positive thought from the day or something that we did, just 1 line. Very, very simple. Reading, I've done most days. And then the last one is my 90-day Bible reading plan. And I definitely fell off in July because we were with family the first week, so I didn't do it as much then. I didn't spend as much time reading. And when you're doing a 90-day Bible reading plan, you need to spend a significant amount of time reading each day. And then if you fall behind, you fall behind quickly. So I'm supposed to be at the end of August. Like if you're looking at a yearly plan, I'm supposed to be at the end of August, at the end of July, but I am in the middle of July right now. So I am about 6 weeks behind on my 90-day reading plan. If you look at it from a yearly point of view, will I be able to catch up? Potentially, but I think that I think that I will finish by the end of September. That's my new goal. So it's not a 90-day reading plan anymore. It's 120 days, and I'm just going to go with it and hope for the best. But I am really pleased with the progress, and it's a chronological reading plan, so I really enjoy that. So those were all of my goals for July. I feel really good about the month. And then when I sat down to do August, I went through my quarterly action plans, which I think that I shared those in my quarterly refresh video, my seasonal refresh video. So I will leave that linked in the description box. I went through my quarterly plans, and for the most part, I have accomplished all of the projects on all of those mini action plans. The only one that I have not completed everything is in the memory keeping, and that is centered around our Florida trip, trying to kind of big picture what memory keeping means to me, how I want to do things in the future, if there are things that I'm hoping to document through the end of the year, and how that's going to translate into the new year, plus going through memory bins and stuff. So I am making progress. It's not as fast as I would have preferred, but I think that, and it's not even a case where don't have the mental energy to do it, which in years past has been the issue. I didn't want to go through the kids like kindergarten stuff and get rid of things. It's not that, it's just that we've had a very full summer and I haven't had as much time to focus on those things as I need to. When I have downtime, I really have been leaning into rest just for health reasons. So, yeah, anyways. So the priority that I have for August is to enjoy the end of the summer days. It is cool in Maine right now. I know it's July 30th and it seems very early, but the humidity has kind of left. I thought that this week was going to be very, very hot leading into August, but I think we only have like one mid 80s day, and every other day is like high 70s, low 80s, which is not super hot to me. And the humidity is gone, so it kind of feels a little cool. So it seems like it seems like summer is over, but I'm hoping for a little more heat maybe in the middle of August. We'll see. I did not write any encouraging words for the month because I just don't have a ton to write for goals for August. So I went through my quarterly action plans and realized that most of the stuff was done for the quarter that I wanted to get done. And instead, at that point, I could have said, okay, well, I have, an entire month left in the quarter. Let's fill it with a bunch of new projects. But I realized that I wanted to continue leaning into rest. I want to continue leaning into the slow start. We have Jack's birthday in August, which is actually my first monthly project. And so I didn't want to add a bunch of new things. And so I didn't, and you will see that in my tending list. So the first thing is Jack's birthday. That's not really a goal necessarily, but it is something that we will be focusing on. So that is the first on my list for monthly projects. The next is making progress on the Florida video. I know I'm not going to complete it, but I do want to work a little bit on it as I can, probably during our week off when we're taking Jack's birthday week off from homeschool. So I should have a little bit more time to work on things that week. I want to try those budgeting apps. I think they all offer free trials, and I know that kind of will take a lot of time to put some preliminary money things into those budget systems, but I just need to be able to play around with them to see what is going to function well for me, and then also bring my husband into the mix to see if there is one that he likes more. Then I have one file cabinet drawer, one homeschool bin. Again, I've written those down. And then the next one is the kids' chores calendar. I've kind of put their cleaning tasks on the daily habit trackers that I do each month for their homeschool, but I do want to just have a calendar on the fridge. I think that is helpful. They don't always look at their daily habit trackers when they're not homeschooling, so having that extra accountability with the calendar on the fridge is helpful. And I already have all of the tasks listed out. I just need to put them on the calendar and print it out. I just use Google Cal and do that, and everybody has a color. The next thing on my monthly projects is my quarterly reset, because I run my year differently. January through March is the first quarter, April and May is my second season, June through August is summer, and then September through November is my fall quarter. And December, I'm mainly focusing on planning for 2025, the new year, as well as leaning into traditions and such. So I have my quarterly reset, and then I have my monthly reset, which is going to be August 29th. I think that I will probably end up taking that entire last week to work a little bit at a time on the quarterly reset, because there are a lot of things that I do. Sometimes it's easy for me to do it all in one day, but sometimes I need a little bit more time. And I feel like this year I might need a little bit more time going into the fall quarter. Hopefully by the end of August, I will really have our activities schedule solidified, so I will know when we're going to be out of the house for various activities, so we will see. Then the last thing on my monthly projects is inventory, and I actually have a list of inventory items that I want to do: freezer, pantry, first aid, and vitamins, and then winter gear to make sure that I have stuff. Jack is between the boys' boot size and the men's boot size. It's very hard for me to find boots that fit him. And in fact, last year I couldn't find any boots that fit him. So he wore Emma's old boots, which were like bright pink and not pleasant for him. But he didn't need them all that much because we didn't have a ton of snow. So we weren't like out sledding or, going and doing outside snowmobiling or anything like that. So it wasn't that big of a deal. He mainly just used them around the house, taking care of the chickens and stuff. But I need to find him some boots. So those are all of my monthly projects for the month. It does sound, there's a lot of things listed here, but I don't think any of them are going to be super time consuming besides the quarterly reset that I'm going to be doing. Well, and the inventories might take me a little bit of time. We'll see. Okay, then for my weekly action items, I have weekly projects, and I do have them listed, the July weekly projects and the August weekly projects that I want to work on. So I'm hoping to do a couple each week. We will see. That week that we're taking off for Jack's birthday, we are doing a bunch of birthday related things and like travel and stuff, but I'm also hoping that towards the end of that week, I can spend some time doing home management stuff. We started doing a 6 weeks on, 1 week off schedule a couple of years ago for our homeschool, and that 1 week off has been mainly focused on me working on home management projects and cleaning things I don't have the time to do during the normal homeschool week. Some of those bigger projects that just take a lot more time, and it's hard for me to start and then stop and then start and then stop. So we'll see. We'll see how much I get done. The next thing is weekly planning, and that is both personal and homeschool planning. I didn't even put homeschool planning on its own line this month. And then the third thing I have for weekly action items is food prep, and a lot of that is related to my CSA delivery, which we get each week, and just prepping the veggies for the week and planning out my meals and making sure that we have things easily accessible in the fridge so that I don't have to think about cooking so much. I really do need to work more on food prep, and that might be something that I focus more on in 2025. I have been doing it, but I used to be really good at it when we lived at our old house and I did majority cooking from scratch. I still do a lot of from scratch cooking, but I have really dwindled on the variety of things that I've made. I think that I've just been burnt out on cooking all of the time. So I want to bring some joy back to my cooking and baking, because those are things that I have always loved doing, but it's just been busy and not as enjoyable lately. Anyways, probably since 2020, I would say. Then my daily habits are walk, my 90-day Bible reading plan, and journaling, continuing that 1 line a day journal. So those are my August goals. It doesn't seem like all that much, but I didn't want to overload myself. I know that that week that we're off for Jack's birthday is not going to be a week where I can focus on a lot of projects because I'm going to be focusing on him, obviously, and some travel and other things. So I think that I have a good amount of stuff here, and we will cross our fingers and hope for the best. So these are my August goals. I am pleased with them. I would love to hear what you're working on for the month of August. Let me know in the comments below. And again, if you do want to come over and check out my membership community, we talk about goals every month. We all share our goals over there. I would love to have you come check us out. That is, again, linked in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.